Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Delegitimizing themselves. For Infowars.com, this is Owen Schroyer.
Leading of
Welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. It is Thursday, March 2nd, 2017, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here's what's coming up tonight.
Tonight, Attorney General Jeff Sessions is now under fire because he spoke to a Russian ambassador when he was a senator. Seriously? What about Senator McCain, who met repeatedly with ISIS? Oh, that's not a problem, right? Meanwhile, France's Marine Le Pen has been stripped of EU parliamentary immunity for merely tweeting pictures of ISIS atrocities. But she will not be cowed down, and she essentially declared war on Germany's Merkel to her face at the EU Assembly. And beware the Ides of March. A perfect storm is brewing with a stock market bubble, Fed rate increase, and Obama's debt holiday set to expire as Trump unveils his plan to repeal Obamacare. Correction, Obama tax. All that and more on tonight's Infowars Nightly News.
In case you haven't heard, Infowars has become the most influential media outlet in America. We're making freedom go viral. And now we are proud to announce a new weapon in the epic battle against the globalists. Infowars Prime, where you can watch live high-definition feeds of The Alex Jones Show, plus exclusive insider videos from the Infowars crew and behind-the-scenes action. Go to Infowars.com/app and download today. Infowars Prime is available right now for your iPhone or Android. You will have access to exclusive videos that you can't see anywhere else. And that means live coverage of events and breaking news on location as it happens. You can also take advantage of amazing deals from the Infowars store that are only available for Infowars Prime subscribers. That's Infowars Prime at Infowars.com/app. And if you can hear my voice, you are the resistance.
Attorney General Jeff Sessions has recused himself from any future investigations into the allegations that the Russians influenced our election somehow. Did they hack the election in collusion with the Trump campaign to oust Hillary Clinton? Jeff Sessions doesn't care. He says it's a nothing burger. He has recused himself. Now, his critics are going to say that this is an admission of guilt. He seemed to be very lighthearted about it at his press conference, saying, you know what, there's nothing to see here, so I don't even need to be in control of it. But here's the Sessions controversy explained. So this is how he found himself at the center of this political fray. Now, the critics accused the former senator of purposefully lying about contacts that he had with the Russian ambassador. These were comments made by Sessions under oath during his confirmation hearing for Attorney General on January 10th. Now, he was asked by Democratic Senator Al Franken about contacts with any Russian government-related entities during the course of the Trump campaign. Sessions said he wasn't aware of any such meetings, including any evidence that anyone affiliated with the Trump campaign communicated with the Russian government in the course of the campaign. And that's the clincher, because he was asked regarding in the course of the campaign, dealing with the Trump campaign. And he responded saying he wasn't aware of any of those activities. Now, the opponents there say that when Senator Franken was questioning him, those questions were all-encompassing. He should have just known. Any meeting whatsoever should have been disclosed by the former senator. But supporters argue that Franken's comments were in the context of campaign duties, unrelated to Sessions' role as a senator and member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. He's a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, so of course he's going to be speaking with all sorts of ambassadors, including the Russian ambassador, and he was under no obligation to make them aware of that, because frankly, they would have just said, oh, see, talking to the Russians, there we go, right there, that's proof, that's all you need, when he was doing his job. Now, Sessions' spokeswoman said that Sessions' answer was honest, given the context of Franken's question. She said the Attorney General has been very clear that as a senator, he had conversations with the Russian ambassador. Last year, the senator had over 25 conversations with foreign ambassadors as a senior member of the Armed Services Committee, including the British, Korean, Japanese, Polish, Indian, Chinese, Canadian, Australian, German, and Russian ambassadors. A big duh, because guess what? He's not a civilian. He was a senator and a senior member of the Armed Services Committee. So, of course, he's going to be speaking with countries when they're dealing with weapons and arms. Now, President Trump has responded to all this, saying that he has total confidence in Sessions. Again, a big nothing burger, but the left is going to see this as a win because they can use this to taint the public's impression of Trump's administration. Now, the fact that they so easily tossed General Flynn aside, we knew that this was coming. We knew that they weren't just going to be satisfied with that. They're going to continue to chip away at anybody that Donald Trump brings into his administration. And going on with that, we see immediately some people there in the GOP rush to eat their own. There was many Republicans quick to pile it on as he was being targeted by the media. So this is why he recused himself. He just said, you know, we don't want to turn this into a big political thing. It's a nothing burger. I don't need to be in charge of any investigations into Russia because you're not going to find anything. So I don't need to be there to, in your eyes, oversee this thing and protect Donald Trump and people within his campaign and his administration, much unlike the former Attorney General Loretta Lynch, who refused to recuse herself when they were investigating Hillary Clinton. Of course, she didn't recuse herself. She gave the illusion that she would step back and she would allow the FBI director, James Comey, she would, you know, go with whatever he said, but she would reserve the right to, you know, fight back if she didn't agree with the findings there with Hillary Clinton. So total difference here where he said, you know what, I don't need to protect Donald Trump. I recuse myself from this. Loretta Lynch would not recuse herself. Meanwhile, you know, why are they rolling out the dinosaur John McCain? Okay, nobody cares what he says, but this is a man who met with ISIS, okay? So he goes to Syria and he meets with the Syrian rebels, of course, who defected to ISIS or, you know, Al-Qaeda's army, and had a picture with them. He had another secret trip taken to Syria. And again, former President Barack Obama, let's not even get into who he spoke with, unbeknownst to the American people, and of course, many people within the administration. He sent billions of dollars to Iran with this hostage exchange. Let's not forget that. Now, of course, initially they lied about it, said it was only about 400 million sent in these unmarked bills to Iran in last January. But of course, later we found out it was like $1.3 billion to Iran after the hostages were released. This is Iran that still says and chants death to America. They just released another film, Battle of the Persian Gulf 2. This is an Iranian film hailing the demise of the U.S. Navy in an imagined Gulf battle. So they're already still putting out this propaganda, death to America. Actual state sponsors of terror, Syria, Iran, even Saudi Arabia. Everyone's fine with the fact that they're meeting with those actual state sponsors of terror. But if the senator in his job as a senior member of the Armed Services Committee has to speak to the Russian ambassador, that's a huge scandal. So this is the problem here. You know, Russia isn't even on the list of state sponsors of terror, mind you. So frankly, it's okay that if you're doing your job and you need to speak with them, but for whatever reason, we're allowed to send billions of dollars to Iran states. But nothing to see here, folks. That's completely okay. You know, if he wants to annihilate the Middle East and bomb them to the tune of a bomb dropped about every 20 minutes, that's completely fine. But, you know, if you speak to the Russian ambassador in the context of doing your job, well, everybody freak out, okay, if you're on the left. Now, here's what this is all about. We had talked about this before, Daily Caller saying this is confirmed. The Obama administration sabotaged Trump's transition to the White House. This is according to the New York Times. Obama White House officials waged a campaign to procure, save, and disperse classified intelligence regarding Trump associates' contacts with Russians. This campaign involved curtailing the Trump team's access to highly classified information, and then they would lower the classification ratings on other information about this ongoing Russian investigation so that it could be more widely shared across the government. Oh, and by the way, leaked to the press time and time again. So you can see how we've been talking that there's kind of this coup going on within the government, the shadow government, the people who see themselves as the real government, the unelected government. They are waging a war against Donald Trump and his administration because Obama cannot stand the fact that everything that he and his people work so hard for is going to be dismantled. Now, going back to this other article, it points out how this wide-ranging report includes information that isn't positive for Trump, including that federal investigators were given intelligence from foreign services that some Trump associates met with the Russians in the Netherlands and Britain. But they, again, point out, once again, that U.S. officials do not have any evidence of any coordination between Trump advisors and the Russian government to influence the election. So again and again and again, they're saying there's no evidence there of any wrongdoing, but here everyone should get really excited and freaked out about this. Now, the FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe told Trump's Chief of Staff Reince Priebus that the entire story was BS. So there you go. And this is all in alignment with Obama's goal to oust Trump from the presidency via impeachment or resignation. Why do you think President Barack Obama hasn't slithered off to Hawaii to go play perpetual golf games? He is right there, ready to jump back into politics, leading the charge to oust Donald Trump from the presidency. This is according to a close family friend who tells the Daily Mail. They report Obama is being aided in his crusade by ex-senior advisor Valerie Jarrett. She's actually moved into Obama's house, his house there in D.C., into the Nerve Center. This is just 2 miles away from the White House. This is going to serve as the big place to mount the insurgency against Trump. Now, on Tuesday, former Attorney General Eric Holder also revealed that Obama was close to returning as a full-time political operative. Holder told reporters, "It's coming, he's coming, and he's ready to roll." Oh my gosh, that sounds like a movie trailer to a very scary movie about the future that is going to befall us all. So the family source tells the newspaper that Obama's ultimate goal was to force Trump to step down either through resignation or impeachment, and that the former president is dismayed at the way Trump is tearing down his legacy, Obamacare, the social safety net, and the welcome mat for refugees that Obama put in place. Bye, bye, bye. So this is why the Obama administration, they're still around. And the people that are kind of working within the shadow government, working on the little coup to oust anyone that Trump brings in, because they truly feel that their unelected selves are just waiting in the wings. This is why President Obama is there behind his walled-in D.C. mansion. But speaking of fake news, I know Darren McBreen is actually going to be working on a very important story. He'll be breaking it on the Alex Jones Show tomorrow, as well as for the Infowars Nightly News. But Darren, tell us what you're working on. It's very key.
Well, we're working on an investigative report that has busted the mainstream media big time, not only broadcasting fake news, but they're actually creating fake news websites, passing it along as the real thing. And what happens, people, they see these stories online, and millions of people have shared these stories on Facebook thinking it's the real thing. But when we investigate further, they're absolutely made up websites. And I got a couple of the names for you right now. Salt Lake City Guardian, there's no such thing, right? But they make up a website. And then what happens is people see these headlines, and it's everything from Lady Gaga to Donald Trump and vaccinations. But what I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to saturate social media with all these bogus fake news stories. That way, when the average person on social media, they run across an Infowars article or they see something from Breitbart or the Drudge Report, they're confused. They're not really sure if it's real or not. And like I said, it saturates everything, so they don't know what to trust. And I think that's their end game. But the big news here is we have busted the establishment media launching fake news websites. And we're going to have a full report tomorrow night, and it'll also be on the Alex Jones Show tomorrow.
Wow. Thank you, Darren. That's really going to be exciting. Looking forward to that because, of course, this is just going to underscore their narrative that the fake news is what helps sway the election, and they just want to confuse the hell out of everyone so that Obama can get his wish of going back to the olden days of the 3 major news agencies giving everyone the information that they needed. We need to do away with this open, free, wild, wild west of the internet, which has allowed the masses, the sleeping giant, to awaken and tear down that globalist plan, which is another reason why they are really in a flurry to make this all happen before these elections coming up in France as well as Germany, because they can see that this is a global awakening. Worldwide, this is happening, and they are seeing their globalist agenda being dismantled. Now, here is some video from earlier of a savage assault doled out by Marine Le Pen. She said it directly to Angela Merkel's face, calling Germany a servant to America. Let's go ahead and play this clip.
Vous venez tous deux ici en séance de rattrapage, car votre Union européenne est en train de s'effondrer, aggravant les assauts migratoires comme les assauts économiques et obligée de se maintenir par le chantage, la menace et l'intimidation. Votre modèle, c'est la vassalisation aux États-Unis, l'austérité, la concurrence déloyale, la surveillance massive des citoyens, le dumping social, la submersion migratoire.
So you can see how upset Marine Le Pen is, talking about she represents an intelligent protectionism, individual liberties, and the defense of safety and identity, and really lambasting Angela Merkel for telling people that they can't speak the truth. And she herself, Marine Le Pen, has been a victim of this. The EU lawmakers have actually lifted Le Pen's EU parliamentary immunity on Thursday. So what this means, Le Pen is under investigation in France for posting 3 graphic images of Islamic State executions on Twitter in December 2015. Oh, big no-no, can't do that there. That includes the beheading of American journalist James Foley. Now, Le Pen's immunity shields her from prosecution, but by lifting it just over a month before the first round of the French presidential election, after a request from the French judiciary, the parliament is going to allow any eventual legal action against her for posting videos that were posted all over the internet. But she's not allowed to post things that expose the truth. And that's what she's saying, that she's not afraid to put the truth out there. And no one should be afraid to put the truth out there while we are being infiltrated, especially the West, especially what they're dealing with in Europe. You can't post the facts that the opponents don't like. Just like investigative journalist Tim Pool, who was there in Sweden. He was forced to leave the migrant suburb in Sweden after he was followed by masked men. So this is after the left is continuing to claim that there are these no-go areas that Donald Trump was talking about, that they don't exist. So this is Tim Pool, and he was there. He had huge problems. So let's go ahead and take a look at these clips.
We have to get a police escort right now. We've been warned by them that it can get really dangerous if we don't leave right now from Rinkeby. Yeah. So it's the middle of the day. Yeah. Police are following. The police are following us because we're being followed. The police have warned us that if we don't leave now, things are going to get bad. They said within minutes, 50 people could be here.
So this is reporter Tim Pool, and rather than just be told by the mainstream media that there's nothing to see here, these no-go zones don't exist, Donald Trump is wrong, he went to Sweden to conduct interviews in these migrant suburbs to get an accurate picture of what's happening. He actually traveled to Rinkeby, which was the scene of last week's riots. Cars were set ablaze, journalists, shopkeepers, police, they were all attacked there. So he goes there, he said, honestly, I thought we would be totally safe to go in there and ask people what life was like. I really didn't expect that to happen, the fact that the police told him he was going to get chased out by a bunch of people with rocks. But you know what? Salon.com says that the Swedish migrant suburbs are safe and that no-go areas don't exist. So it's fake news. It must be true.
This is one of the biggest secrets out there. The missing link of why our ancestors, whether you were in Africa or ancient Albion, which is England today, why our ancestors were so much stronger. I mean, there are huge archaeological reports, all sorts of anthropology studies, you can look them up for yourself, that show that humans, just an average farmer of 10,000 years ago in England, was stronger than Olympic athletes today. In the final equation, everyone knows our modern society has lost its vitality. The sperm counts are down like 90%. People are falling apart. They're totally depressed. They're unhappy. What is going on? Every ancient culture was obsessed with what I'm about to reveal to you. Today we call it bone broth, and for thousands of years our ancestors enjoyed its benefits before it became lost to our modern diets of processed junk. That's why I'm so excited to announce the product that is undoubtedly the jewel in the crown of Infowars Life products. Caveman. We lost our vitality because we just ignored the ancient traditions. Everyone knew that you used all the parts of the animal. You used the skin to cover yourself or for shelter. You used the meat for sustenance, the fat for cooking, but you used the bones for strength. We are now introducing Caveman by InfoWarsLife.com, the ultimate in true paleo nutrition with bone broth, turmeric root, chaga mushroom, and 7 total primal superfoods in a single great-tasting formula. The bone is so amazing. From the outside structure full of minerals and key cofactors to the marrow that produces the blood for the body. This is the engine of the life essence. I've made a lot of important points here, but this is the one you need to research for yourself because it's so key. High-quality bone broth helps support healthy muscles and connective tissue, while the active compounds in turmeric do battle on the cellular level and help fight free radicals. And collagen is essential to aid healthy tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue. This is an absolute win-win. You get an amazing product produced right here in America. You support Infowars, and all we're doing to promote freedom and the restoration of our republic and promotion of freedom worldwide. The journey towards better health and giving our bodies these amazing compounds that God created starts at InfoWarsLife.com. 3 years in the making, incredible research, and the very best ingredients. I'm Alex Jones, and I may not be a caveman, but compared to these trendies out there in the street, I'm as close as it gets. Join me at InfoWarsLife.com and get your caveman formula today. The globalist social engineers are not just targeting us with propaganda. They are manipulating our genetics. We are being targeted at every level by estrogen mimickers that lower our testosterone and other hormones and natural compounds that the body needs. The key is to be aware of this attack and to fight back against it. After consulting top doctors, nutritionists, pharmacists, and others, we have developed what I believe is the ultimate non-GMO organic super male vitality formula sourced from powerful organic herbs harvested around the planet and then concentrated for maximum potency. I've always believed in nutrition and herbs. Super Male Vitality was developed to activate your body's own natural processes instead of using synthetic chemicals. Super Male Vitality by Infowars Life is so powerful that I only take half the recommended dose. Visit InfoWarsLife.com today to secure your Super Male Vitality and other powerful products from Infowars Life.
Today we had some very disturbing news about the proposals for Obamacare. Of course, we have a lot of different and competing proposals in the Congress. It's one of the reasons they can't get anywhere. We're going to have to see this come from Donald Trump, but there's some bad signs on the horizon. A lot of things are going to be coming together in the middle of March. Let's take a look first at what happened with Obamacare today. We see news from Bloomberg that the Republicans are hiding their new Obamacare draft under a shroud of secrecy. This is what Bloomberg said. The document's being treated a bit like a top secret surveillance intercept. Mark Walker from North Carolina, and he chairs the 170-member Republican Study Committee, also said he could not support the leaked draft and won't recommend that his colleagues do so either. Understand, this is a leaked draft. This is not something that has been done in the open. It's sounding a lot like these foreign trade deals, isn't it? That should raise concerns with us, and it does raise concerns with Rand Paul. He tweeted out today, "I've been told that the House Obamacare bill is under lock and key in a secure location and not available for me or the public to view. It's going to be in a dedicated reading room," they say. The effort is to prevent leaks, but we've already had a leak. And as Paul said, the only people who have seen this, they're supposed to be a top secret, yet the only copy we've seen is from the media. But what's going to be happening in the middle of March? Because Donald Trump has said he's going to reveal his Obamacare plan, or his replacement for Obamacare, his repeal and replacement. He said he's going to unveil that about the middle of March. Well, there's a lot of things that are going to be happening in the middle of March. We had an interview with David Stockman that was run by Greg Hunter of USA Watchdog on Sunday. In this interview with USA Watchdog, David Stockman said that's the key date, March the 15th, 2017, just around the corner. That's the date that Obama and Boehner chose when they kicked the can down the road. What is going to happen when that expires? Well, he said, when that holiday expires, the debt ceiling will freeze at $20 trillion. It will then be law. It will be a hard stop. The Treasury will have roughly $200 billion in cash. We're burning cash at $75 billion a month. That's the rate we're burning it. By summer, he said, they'll be out of cash. Then we will be in the mother of all debt ceiling crises again. Everything will grind to a halt. I think we'll have a government shutdown, no Obamacare repeal and replace, no tax cut, no infrastructure stimulus. And now we see, after an interview on Tuesday, that the odds of a Fed rate hike in March are surging. This was the New York Fed president. He is the third-ranking person in the private Federal Reserve. He told CNN Money on Tuesday that the case for raising interest rates is growing. He said, I think the case for monetary policy tightening has become a lot more compelling. Oh, we have to do it. We must raise interest rates after keeping them artificially low, creating a stock market bubble. And we'll come back to the stock market. After his interview with CNN Money, they said the chances of a rate hike in March doubled to 66% on Wednesday from just 33% the day before. And these are the people who are putting odds on it because, you know, of course, Wall Street is a casino. So why not have odds on the rate hikes? Of course they do. They said the real news this week was a dramatic shift in rate hike expectations. So think about this. Wall Street started this rally, and I think a lot of people on Main Street have now bought into this. It has become a giant bubble on top of another bubble. And this is going to be something that is going to be devastating to the people who bought into this. It's going to, a lot of them Trump supporters, it's going to kill a lot of their optimism. As David Stockman said, this is based on pure hopium. And he says this is not based on an analysis of what it's going to take to push through a tax cut. And we do have to get a tax cut. Right now, Donald Trump has been doing things that would be revenue neutral. And what he's doing with the increase in defense spending, he's taking that money out of the administrative state, the massive D.C. bureaucracy that has been at war with American business, with the American economy. I think that's a good tactic to start with. Eventually, he is going to have to cut spending. They're not going to be able to get by simply on the Laffer curve in terms of hoping that these kinds of stimulus is going to create more growth in the economy, and that's going to bring up tax revenue. As David Stockman pointed out, right now, Donald Trump is in a trap. He said in the interview on Sunday, he said, today the debt is $20 trillion. He said it's 106% of gross domestic product. Trump is inheriting a built-in deficit of $10 trillion over the next decade under the current policies that are built in. So we see all these things coming together. We see a massive mess, of course, that Donald Trump has inherited, that has been swept under the rug, or if you will, put into a can and kicked down the road until March the 15th. And then we've got a stock market that has gone into an incredible bubble. We're in record levels right now. That could burst at about the same time that Donald Trump wants to do something about Obamacare. And then, of course, if that doesn't do it, we've got the Fed rate hike that can also burst that bubble. A lot of things are coming together in the middle of March. As Shakespeare said, beware the Ides of March. I'm sure Donald Trump understands this. We need to understand this as the American people. For Infowars.com, I'm David Knight.
These people are crazy. It's the Democratic Party historically that has had the Russians funding them and involving them, but that went away by the 80s. But there was some major Russian connections with Senator Kennedy and people going and actually trying to get paid money by the Russians to do things in Congress. Really serious stuff.
Kennedy went behind Reagan's back in an attempt to undermine Reagan by trying to do a deal with the Soviet leader of the time, the man who was the former head of the KGB, the top man in the USSR. Kennedy went behind his back, through third parties using a guy named Tunney, former Democratic senator from California, a fellow traveler. And he went through Tunney to send a confidential message to the General Secretary of the Central Committee of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union, Mr. Andropov. And Kennedy said he would help Andropov in dealing with Ronald Reagan. In turn, the Soviet leader would lend the Democrat Party a hand in challenging Reagan in the 1984 presidential election.
And sex operatives, Russian sex operatives. But by the 90s, that all pretty much stopped. Since then, the Russians have been trying to make business deals. And then you look at what's happening now. The communist Chinese are very public about the fact that they are the biggest, most powerful lobby outside of the military-industrial complex lobby, the big banking lobby. There is an Israel lobby. It's very powerful. But if you really look at things, it's the communist Chinese, many cases, allied with Islamist groups that really are the muscle, the brains, and the funding. I mean, Congress has estimated 10,000 communist Chinese front companies, you know, communist Chinese front groups in colleges and you name it, and schools and companies they set up for manufacturing to get other technology. I mean, they are in our business, man. They are in our business. And they're just quietly beavering away to take over. But not so quietly. Now they're in the news a lot saying, you know what? We're buying up all of Hollywood. We're going to tell you what to say and what to do. And we're going to help you shut down Donald Trump and the alt-right. We're going to help you censor the way we do. We ban fake news first. And our fake news goes, you're so wonderful. I know I make this point every day, but I mean, you can go read the articles everywhere where our media praises the communist Chinese and everything they've done and says, oh, can you help us with our problem? Oh, you bet. See how right we are now? Yeah, putting people in mobile execution vans that criticize the government or taking Buddhists that secretly practice their faith and killing them. I mean, this is crazy. The current debate over fake online news has one country feeling vindicated, China. For years, its controversial censorship system has been cracking down on so-called online rumors. Yeah, killing people. And last week, a state-controlled newspaper essentially told the U.S., I told you so. Well, it went further than that. They said, we're going to help advise you. We're going to help censor, and Zuckerberg can come back in, and Google can come back in just as soon as you shut down your troublemakers. It's very scary that he wants nationalism and economic nationalism. That's not conservative. No, having a country isn't conservative. The level of bull that comes out of these people's mouths, they're like, our really big lies didn't work, so let's tell really humongous ones that are ridiculously big. Yeah, let's do it. That's the plan. It's like the Pope. I can't stand Christian roots. They're disgusting in Europe. And there is no such thing as Islamic terror. Now the main guy, Le Pen's way ahead of in the polls, but her main opposition came out, is the Rothschild candidate, and openly says you cannot stop the open borders. You cannot stop Islam. It will take over Europe. First, oh, there's no Islam problem. Oh, it doesn't want to take over. Now, you will assimilate. You will never stop us. Lay down, take it. As a man, I don't want to be dominated and enslaved. It's the average person that is, you know, the rock star in God's eyes. So understand that. We are the resistance. That's what the globalists call their movement the resistance now. Well, yeah, they're the resistance against freedom and God and family. And we're the resistance against their system of death and enslavement and fraud. Everyone knows that Infowars funds our operation by selling high-quality products that we use and that everybody needs at very competitive, affordable prices. And so I get questions all the time over the years. Why don't you sell body armor at InfoWarsStore.com? Or why don't you have sponsors that sell body armor? And it's simple. I will only promote and I will only sell the very, very best out there. And there's a nexus point. There's quality versus price, and those 2 points have to come together. National Defense Labs and its civilian subsidiary, Citizen Armor, has given Infowars the exclusive on distributing to the American people the true next generation in body armor. People are always saying, it's the 21st century. Where are the silver jetpacks? And where's Buck Rogers and the Sky Cars? Well, the globalists have basically suppressed a lot of those developments. They admit they want a post-industrial world. They call any technology that gets around their systems of control disruptive. Well, believe me, this is disruptive to tyrants worldwide.
Basically, what we're bringing to the Infowars team is a new line of dynamic, lightweight body armor. It's nanotube technology. It's created here in Texas. It is lighter, more flexible, easier to wear, more comfortable, and stronger than anything else on the market. We've went out and did some testing. We originally found their claims, saw what they said. We were all kind of hesitant to believe that something so light, so flexible, could be so strong. So what we did is we went out, we used different pistols, different calibers to test different pieces of the body armor to ensure that it was up to the high standards that we expect to carry here at the Infowars store.
Born in Texas, made in America, exclusively available at InfoWarsStore.com right now.
I mean, it's unbelievable. It's a 1/4 inch thick. I mean, it's got a 20-year warranty. It's waterproof. You can wear it. It's comfortable. I mean, it's not bulky. I mean, that's the biggest, I think, intrigue for you, Alex.
The biggest thing for us is, unfortunately, we live in a society now where we need to be able to defend ourselves and our families at any time. And this is something that is so thin and so lightweight.
You said when you talk to people that have been using this, actually testing it for years, and people that currently test it for us, they didn't just say outstanding. I mean, what did they really say about this?
No, this is through the roof. They want to know, how do they get it? Where do they find it? A lot of my law enforcement official buddies want to know the same thing because they're wearing these big, heavy, bulky vests that don't work as well. So they're looking for something you can wear all day, 12 hours a day, in and out of a car.
And 90, I mean, you can look up the numbers, 90+% of fatalities with guns when they're used in visual crime, I think it's like 94, is pistols or shotguns. This stops that unless it's a slug. I mean, that's amazing. So they can wear this and only somebody with a rifle round is going to get through it. And soon, and then we'll have it, if it's available to civilians, they're not sure, we're going to have the stuff that's, I mean, unstoppable. This deal is so insane, is so good, it makes my head spin. But I guess the first people to sell cars kind of had to give them away. People didn't believe it. Hell, I don't want that thing. I feed my horse hay. The backpack body armor is only $200. And we shot everything you can imagine at it. Again, fund the InfoWar. Get the game-changing nanotech tubes from Buck Rogers. It's a win-win. $200. Go check out all their different products at InfoWarsStore.com. It's amazing.
This is Millie Weaver, and you're watching the Infowars Nightly News. Well, we have seen tons of anti-Trump protests out there since Donald Trump has been elected as the President of the United States. On Inauguration Day, we saw the Women's March on Washington, which don't let the name fool you because it was about as anti-Trump as any other anti-Trump march I've ever seen. So now pro-Trump supporters have organized a March for Trump. It's going to be on Saturday, this coming Saturday, March 4th at noon, nationwide. This is going to be great, folks. It's going to be a chance for Trump supporters to come together, feel each other's support and unity, and to make a bold statement to the whole country that Trump does have the American people's support. So make sure you go out there, guys, show your support. Check the website, marchfortrump.org, to see if your nearest city is going to be holding a rally, because there are tons of cities. I mean, it's nationwide. And another thing that's very interesting here is that they are holding anti-Trump counter March for Trump protests now. So the left caught wind of this, and of course the snowflake SJWs are holding counter Trump protests to shut down Trump supporters. Let's take a look at this article right here. This is the name of one of the protests in Minnesota, the counter-Trump protest. It's called Make Racists Afraid Again. Counter-protest the Minnesota March for Trump on March 4th. So basically, they're going around saying that the Trump supporters are a bunch of racists, a bunch of white supremacists coming out of the woodwork, and that they need to shut us down. It actually says this in this article. It's pretty disturbing. And we all know that that's not true. We all know that there are tons of Latinos for Trump, African Americans for Trump, Asians for Trump. The support is completely diverse. So to say that is just completely wrong, but this is what they're using to justify shutting us down. Let's take a look here. It says, please bring noisemakers to help drown out the hate speech and alternative facts of the alt-right. So they want to try and shut down our speech. This is about free speech. This is about us being able to show that we politically support a candidate. Doesn't matter who, but everyone has the right to the freedom of speech and to voice their political opinions without fear of terrorism. So they're actually planning to come out and terrorize pro-Trump supporters, which is absolutely un-American and unacceptable. So this is just a prime example, guys. You know, you could just blow it off for this weekend and be like, you know, I just don't feel like going out and bothering. But the point is, are you for freedom of speech? Are you for standing up for our rights? Because if we just sit around and say, well, you know, maybe another time, maybe another protest, maybe another weekend, we're going to lose our First Amendment, folks, because they aren't saying that. They're going out any chance they get, and they're trying to shut us up and shut us down, which is completely unacceptable. So make sure you go out this weekend, March 4th, to march for Trump, because you're not just marching for Trump, you're marching for the First Amendment and your right to voice your opinion without fear of being terrorized. So make sure you guys do it and wear your Hillary for prison, your Trump is my president, your Trump 2020 shirts to show that we are not going away and we're going to continue to express our right to be here, our right to exist, our right to have our opinions. This is Millie Weaver, signing off for the Infowars Nightly News.
Owen Schroyer here for Infowars.com. I'm at the University of Texas in Austin, and we're going to talk to some people here today. We're going to figure out what they think about Donald Trump and his alleged ties to Russia.
Honestly, I don't believe I'm educated enough in the subject. I haven't done enough research, so I don't think I can speak on this topic.
Would you say that most of your fellow students would say the same thing?
Yeah.
I'm not informed enough to talk about that.
Not entirely sure, like, how to make an informed opinion because I haven't looked too much into it myself.
I've not read that much about it, but it sounds pretty bad.
I don't know.
I have no idea what's going to happen, and that worries me more than any threat that they pose.
But for the time being, you guys aren't, like, looking around the corner for Russians trying to bring this country down?
No. I don't know.
Are you worried at all that there might be a Russian agent in office?
I feel like that is a lot of propaganda and, like, sensational media.
I don't really follow American news.
Yeah, I mean, but I'm not informed, so I can't make a good comment on it.
I could care less. I just want to make America great again.
What do you think about that?
Oh, we don't know anything about that.
You guys don't know anything about that?
No, I stay out of politics.
I don't think I know enough to make a substantive comment on it.
Honestly, I don't pay attention to that stuff very much.
Not that I'm not concerned, I don't know too much about it to actually, like, discuss it.
What do you think that they might find? I mean, what do you think is possibly lurking under the Trump administration that would bring ties to Russia that would be detrimental to the United States?
See, that I don't know.
Oh, I can't. I have no idea.
What about you?
No comment.
What do you think?
I honestly don't know anything about that. Like, I haven't really read on it.
What do you think?
Never mind.
I think that it's important to, I don't really know.
Who do you think Trump cares more about, the American people or Vladimir Putin?
Ooh, it's hard, but I'd have to say Vladimir Putin.
Personally, I don't believe that he won the election because of a Russian influence, but I'm sure, does he have some sort of business ties in his personal lives? I don't know, perhaps. But I don't think we should fear Russia. I think America is clearly better than Russia, and if they make a move, we're gonna punch them in the mouth. I'm not.
You're not worried about Trump holding back on that, is what you're saying?
No, I'm not.
I really don't care about politics. It's a bunch of venery.
And I don't really know that much about it, but I don't think it's a good thing.
I honestly haven't kept up with the news, so I don't know.
Are you worried that Russia might be influencing our way of life?
Nope, I'm not.
But the fact that we don't know is a form of uncertainty that I don't think many people tolerate.
Honestly, I don't even know. I just gotta have a test.
I don't know, I don't.
I have not looked into that enough to make any comment on that.
I am starting to think that Putin might be on this campus right now because nobody seems to know anything. But is he a Russian agent, or does he have ties to Russia that might be dangerous to this country?
I don't want to say that he does because I don't have any, information on that. So I don't want to spread false news. I just remember that a lot of news outlets such as CNN and New York Times really talked a lot about that.
Putin's got him wrapped around his finger, and thus America falls into whatever Putin wants.
So I'm curious, what is the evidence you've seen that has led you to that belief?
Social media, rumors, all those things, no facts, just whatever I see on the media.
Well, it seems, at least to me, pretty far-fetched. I mean, I don't think the American electorate would let something like that happen.
So let me ask you this. What do you make of George Bush, Darrell Issa, Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, all these people calling for this special prosecutor to investigate it? Why do you think they're doing that?
It kind of just seems like a neocon reaction to all this, to this brand new wave of brand new American nationalism. And to be honest, I mean, they can do it, but I don't think they're going to find anything.
So you kind of take this as really an anti-American thing against Trump to try to paint him as a Russian when he's really just a nationalist.
Yeah, pretty much.
So there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It turns out that most people on UT's campus really have no idea what's going on at all. So if there are any serious issues with Russia or any influence of Russia on our way of life, they don't seem to care about it, they don't seem to know about it, and they don't seem to be worried about it. Some of them didn't seem open-minded to the propaganda. Few of them said that they don't buy the news or the propaganda. For the most part, though, it just felt like, I don't care, I got my own life to worry about. So it appears that the propaganda is not working on college students because they're just not paying attention. This is Owen Schroyer for Infowars.com.
Alex Jones here with a very important news update to anybody out there that wants to be prepared. But it goes beyond being prepared. Our bodies absolutely must have the good halogen iodine or we will die. And you look at all of the thyroid problems and all the people that don't have energy and that have all sorts of hormone problems. And from my research, and a lot of just mainline research, it leads back to iodine over and over and over again. It's as important as vitamin C. If you don't get iodine, you die. But most people are just deficient, so they're low energy, they're sick. You got to have iodine in your body so that your body can produce the hormones you need. It is the base to so many things. And since I got into iodine 4 years ago, we've helped change the entire paradigm by developing and bringing to the public deep earth crystals from 7,000 to 12,000 feet of the purest iodine available. Other iodine comes from the ocean or from other byproducts of chemical facilities, and it's tainted. It's bound. It's not absorbable. I tried it. And I had incredible effects even with dirty iodine because the body needs it. When you don't have iodine, it absorbs the chlorine, the fluoride, and all these other bad halogens. Do yourself and your family a favor and check out the importance of iodine for yourself. I think you're going to be blown away. And whatever you do, support the broadcast and get a bottle of Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2. Also consult your physician because if you've been deficient in it or have other issues, it can have some dramatic effects. As for me and most folks I talk to, it's been a game changer in the positive column, but still consult your physician because iodine is no joke. It's a key building block of the body. And if you haven't had it for a long time and suddenly have it, some folks say they've experienced things like a detoxing effect and things like that. You've got to have vitamin C. You've got to have iodine to live. You got to have water to live. Iodine is key. You must have it, but consult your physician first before you get powerful Survival Shield Nascent Iodine X2 at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll free. We can answer your questions. 888-253-3139.
Well, a lot of you out there are really waiting for the disclosure. Extraterrestrials, do they exist or not? Well, frankly, I think we have received our first alien sighting. And no, not from outer space, but a lab-created genderless alien living in Los Angeles, California. Now, this is 22-year-old Vinny O. He has spent more than $50,000 on over 100 procedures to transform into a genderless alien, with plans to have his genitals, nipples, and belly button removed next. Owen Schroyer, now you've been kind of on a body shaming kick here and just asking questions about, you know, what the heck is going on with people. So we don't want to be racist, sexist, homophobic, bigoted, and xenophobic or anything like that. But what the hell is going on? Why do we have plastic surgeons who are willing to allow people to explore? Here's what he says. He's like, I already had a big forehead, you know, and I don't really feel like I need my sexual organs. I could live without sex either way. So why do I need a penis or a vagina? He's an art. That's art. That's art. You look confused. He just wanted to explore it. Like, but what's going to happen after he explores it and then he goes, you know what? I'm done being an alien.
I don't know if there's any coming back from that, but I think the reason it goes on is because you have plastic surgeons that are probably willing to take money from people, that are willing to hand it over to them for whatever surgery they want. Who knows where that'll end up.
Surgeons willing to chop people's legs off because they feel like they are in the wrong body because they are an amputee. Well, and to be honest with you, not to get off on a jag, but I think the whole Snapchat with putting the animal faces on you, I think that could lead eventually to trans-species surgery. Who knows? All these kids that want to grow up and be dogs or something, now I guess they want to be aliens. But no, the thing about it is, to me, Leanne, I mean, look, honestly, I don't care what you do with your body. If you do something like that, don't be surprised if people look at you weird in public. But my issue is that it's being pushed so much in the mainstream media. You know, like the one girl that everyone was mad at me for fat shaming, and I kind of feel bad. I didn't mean to fat shame her. It was just the fact that they were praising this girl for nothing, for just going out there and putting herself out on there with her underwear on and trying to, I don't know what the right word is, but they want to make it normal. To just put yourself out there in your bra and panties.
And now it's no matter how abnormal you are, they just want to make it normal. If you're a genderless alien now, let's normalize that. Yeah,
don't judge and be a racist, sexist, bigoted, homophobe. But the thing is that it's, even with this, allowing people to do what they want, to feel as though they're their true selves, you're still putting value on the outer appearance. And that is the issue I think you're kind of talking about as well, is that it's, people aren't working on their inner person and their inner spirit, stuff that doesn't fade. It's all about your outer appearance, even with your body positivity movement.
It's really just more, if this is going to be a story, it's the angle that they're taking. It's not like, okay, this is weird. Like, you brought this to me like, hey, look at all this weird stuff that's going on. Let's tie it with some of the other weird stuff that we see going on. They take it and they're like, wow, look at this. This is human individualism. This needs to be praised. We need to put this into the mainstream. And then kids see this, the youth see this, and if the parents aren't engaged, who knows where the children's mind might go with this? I mean, I've got this story here. Human Ken doll undergoes 51st plastic surgery procedure. I'm a perfectionist. And you look at this guy, and I mean, okay, if that's what you're into, then that's what you're into. That's perfectly fine.
The guy almost like lost his nose, I thought I had heard, because he'd had so many surgeries, similar to what happened with Michael Jackson, where he just didn't have enough meat and flesh there to stay onto his face. I mean, what the heck? At a certain point, are the doctors culpable in this?
I just don't want to see this go mainstream. Again, I'm a libertarian, if you want to say, and to me, do whatever you want with your body. But when they start to inject this into the mainstream, that's when I think it becomes an issue. Because again, the mind of a youth is very impressionable. And they can see stories like this, and maybe they're in a hard time in their life, maybe they're getting bullied, and maybe they think that this is the answer.
And it's simply not. Fix it, or it's not the answer. Exactly.
And look, and we've got all of these other stories too that kind of show how this is being, how the youth is being indoctrinated into this. In England, sex education to be made compulsory in all schools in England. Government confirms they're going to start doing that at age 4. And then the government's going to decide what is considered age-appropriate sex education. I mean, how is that the government's job? You've got Disney. At age 4, exactly. What are they going to be showing you, a genderless alien now because it's tolerant? Disney puts gay scene in Beauty and the Beast. So again, it's like, okay, whatever, I don't care. But it's the fact they're trying to normalize this. There was no gay scene in the original Beauty and the Beast. They're only doing this because they have to inject it in there. I don't know why, if this is some sort of thing that they want people to see homosexuality, or if they think it'll cause some sort of a buzz about the movie, but they just have to put this in the mainstream, and that's what bothers me.
Right. And of course, just you have to be so accepting, loving, and not say, are you okay? Like, you're beautiful just as you are. You don't need a nose job. You don't need to transform your entire body with plastic surgery. That's not allowed because you might hurt someone's feelings, especially your 7-year-old child. God forbid you try to get him some counseling. No, if he wants to chop his peenie off and be a girl, well, go do that. That's why we have schools in North Bend Public Library in Oregon is actually offering Adulting 101. These are classes to teach coddled millennials how to cook meals, file taxes, get a job, how to move out of the house. I mean, that just goes to show you where we are living in when your parents can't even, they don't have the time, attention, whatever, to explain to you how to set a budget or cook a meal or do anything. That is why we are living in such jacked up place.
I think that this is great, actually. And it's funny because you talk about education in America. These are things that these are not included in our education. People don't learn how to make a budget. People don't learn how to do their taxes. Some states, they don't teach you how to drive a car. I mean, these are things that you need to know.
No, you need to know about genderless aliens. You need to know about the 57, 77 genders that are. That is key.
Thank you. That's a great point.
Material.
I don't need my kid to learn about how to balance a budget or do their taxes. Just make sure that they know all 57 genders. Hey, did you know they might not know all 50 states, but they better know all 57 genders. Okay, I'm just telling you.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have committed a hate crime. Which, when you see all this going on...
But that is funny, because it is true. Most people don't ever actually learn that.
It's true. That's the thing, and that's why so many, with this whole school choice, I would want to rip my child out of a school that emphasized the gender studies versus actual tools that you need to exist and thrive in the present day, which is why we see AI scientists gathering to plot doomsday scenarios and solutions, but they're all getting together. These are researchers and cybersecurity experts, policy wonks, asking themselves, what could possibly go wrong? They know they're in an industry where they're basically going to be building the brave new world. So now they're kind of mapping out they're wargaming some different scenarios of what could possibly happen. Doesn't mean they're going to stop. They are full steam ahead with this. As they're talking now, artificial human life could soon be grown in a lab after they had an embryo breakthrough. So we won't even need gender anymore. They're just bringing us into this future. But frankly, after that, we won't even need humans anymore because they're already working on robots that will replace humans. They've already reported that, sex between a man and a woman, a husband and wife, will be saved for only special occasions because you'll be doing it with your sex bots. Now scientists are calling for robots to be made with real human flesh that actually sweats. So this is very much like Westworld, living in the simulation with the 3D printing.
And what they're going to do with this, they're going to do the same thing. It's all to dehumanize people. So it's going to be like, oh, this is a machine. It needs to have rights. You need to be tolerant of this machine. Be nice to this machine. It has feelings too. And then eventually you don't know the difference between a human and a machine. And so it's just like, oh, be tolerant and loving of everyone. There is no difference between a human being and that machine because you don't know. It might be a machine. It might be a human. I don't know if we're going to ever get there, but we're definitely seeing the moves being made. And all of this stuff is certainly strange. I mean, this is we're not in Kansas anymore stuff. People getting surgery to look like Ken dolls, look like aliens. The government decides what is age-appropriate sex lessons for your kids. They're rewriting old Disney scripts to include gay scenes, and it just keeps getting weirder and weirder.
Just ramping everyone to be totally accepting of these robots that are going to be in need of tendon replacements, like musicians or athletes they're talking about. So they're really working on the end of human civilization. They can grow life in a lab.
It's like the movie The Surrogate.
Exactly. And this is kind of the future that they're seeing, and they think it could have devastating effects on humankind, but they are full steam ahead with this anyway. So this is the future that's upon us. And I always say robots, they don't have consciousness yet. They're really working on that. So that is our duty as humanity, is to really open up and expand our consciousness and our reality in that realm.
But just like they try to say a man that turns to a woman is a woman, no, it's not. It'll always be a robot, not a human.
Agreed. Well, thank you all for tuning into the show tonight. Thank you for the last word, Owen Schroyer. We'll see you guys here tomorrow, 7 p.m. Central.
In the past decade, we have witnessed unparalleled scientific discoveries in the area of health. But no one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. DNA Force is one of the most expensive formulas to produce. Some of the ingredients in DNA Force are $12,000 a kilogram. We are using the coveted, patented, only American source of PQQ, CoQ10, and more. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? Well, we're bringing you a total win-win. The ultimate value, cutting-edge, trailblazing game changer that also supports the InfoWar. We have produced a limited run of DNA Force, and it will take up to 12 weeks to produce more once we sell out. Secure your DNA Force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139.
Welcome to the InfoWars Nightly News. It is Thursday, March 2nd, 2017, and I'm Leanne McAdoo. Here's what's coming.